Let's look at the hexagon question, which is the final question of category B in terms of difficulty. So in this task, we need to write a program that draws the hexagon shown below. You are not allowed to use more than 6 code blocks. Now, the first bit of information is the same information being provided in most of the questions, which is to use the button hide menu to create more programming space. The second and third bits of information are very helpful. The second one says that the turtle will need to turn 60 degrees quite often to draw a hexagon, and the third says that the sides are length 100. Now let's first have a look at the turtle blocks that are provided to us and the loops block that are provided to us. Now, the fact that the loops block has been provided to us, and that too with only one specific block, we know that we are going to have to use this block in our answer. Now, to create the connection between the repeat block and our answer, we can see the information. We have been told that we are going to be drawing a turn of 60 degrees quite often. This highlights to us that that is the particular instruction or code block that we are going to be placing in our repeat block. Now, we know that the sides are a length 100. What this means is that when we move forward with the turtle, each time we move forward, we're going to be moving forward by 100. This again is another piece of code that we are going to repeat. So we understand that 60 is going to be repeated at some point and 100 is going to be repeated at some point. We also understand that we're going to be repeating a certain number of times. Now in this case, because we know that this is a hexagon and a hexagon has 6 sides, we will be repeating drawing each side of length 100 6 times. So let's pull out the repeat block and let's put that here and let's change that to 6. Now again, using our understanding of shapes, we know that the repeat block is going to do that 6 times because we have a shape with 6 sides. Now the first thing we need to do is we need to move forward. Now we've already been told how many steps we need to move forward by, so we can go straight over and we can change that to 100. Now let's run this and see what happens. Now as you can see, my line continues to repeat 6 times and draw upwards by 100. To check that this is exactly the amount of steps that I do need to move forward for each side, I can for now use the disable function to disable the repeat block, move this block out and just run it to see if I get the right amount of movement on the side. As you can see, I have moved the correct amount of movements to create one of the lines in my hexagon. Now, this means I definitely need to move forward by 100 6 times, but in between each movement forward, I also need to turn at a certain angle in order to create the correct move and turn in order to create my final shape. We could, of course, turn right by 90 as a default value and run it and see what happens. So of course I need to move forward first and then turn right. So I'm going to swap those blocks around and I'm going to run it and see what happens. As you can see, this of course is creating a square. This is because the turn right of 90 degrees isn't the correct amount of degrees that I need to turn. Instead of using trial and error to create the correct turn by moving these numbers around, what I can do is I can reset this and I can look at the fact that I have some mathematical knowledge about a hexagon. Now we understand that a hexagon has 6 vertices, and because we are looking at a hexagon that has equal amount of sides in length, we also know that each of the angles here and the outer angles here when turning will be equal. We know that the inner angles of a hexagon all amount to 120. So what this means is this angle here is 120. So is this angle here, this one here, not forgetting this one here, of course, this one and this one. We can use that information to our advantage because once we get to this spot here, we aren't turning around this way, but we are actually turning around from this point onwards this way. So if we use the information of 120 being the internal angle and then identify that actually we need to turn the number of degrees it creates in the external angle each time we get to a point or an intersection in the hexagon, we can identify the exact turning that we need to make without using trial and error. Now, as you can see here, I can draw an angle straight here, and this straight line is 180. Now, if I know that the inner angle here is 120, then of course the remaining angle here is going to be 60. This is because, of course, 120 and 60 makes 180, which is your straight line. So let's go ahead and actually put 60 in our turn and see what happens. So I'm going to change 90 and then I'm going to run it. Let's have a look. Now, with the use of the repeat block, I'm taking 2 blocks, moving forward the correct length as given to me, turning, of course, 60, which was also given to me, but also now mathematically deduced in order to create the hexagon correctly. Did you understand the maths behind that question? Were you able to make the connection between shapes, angles, and how to draw this question most effectively? Well done if you did. Now let's look at the solution provided for this question on the website. So as you can see, our correct answer has been saved, and another possible answer provided on the website is exactly that we did on our example, as seen above. So the key word here is that it is a possible solution. Now ours does happen to be the same as the website's, but there is other ways of solving this problem. So this again is a possible answer, but not the only one.